Hey everybody, Colin from Gaming Through the Ages here. It's been a while. It's been a few years. Not about 6 or 7 years, but it's been a few years. In the time since I last uploaded, I got a PhD. I also landed a Latin teaching job in Philadelphia, where I now reside. And for a while now, I've been kind of wanting to come back to this channel. And so one of my New Year's resolutions this year is to actually do that. I'll probably upload a video next week explaining more about my plans for the channel, but today I wanted to talk about the 10 games that I plan and pledge to play, beat, review this year. I figured 10 is a number that I can actually hit, right? Some of them I already own physically, some of them I don't. We'll talk about that. This will be a vlog style video. I'm not expecting very many people to watch it, but I want to do it for myself just to, get the ball rolling, just to upload something. I don't really have a script. I have the games written up in here that I can look at. I also have them right next to me. But other than that, I'm just recording, talking, and I'll upload it after I go to the gym today. So the first game on our list is actually the game that I'm playing right now, which is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Why am I playing this game, first of all? I kind of realized that it has been a long time since I've actually played a Zelda game. I think the last Zelda game that I've played was Ocarina of Time, which is way before I even started this channel. And yet, Zelda is one of those franchises that I've been a fan of. The music is fantastic. The puzzles are great. The series in general is just a canonical series that everybody should have at least some of the games under their belt at some point if they want to call themselves a serious gamer. And I loved Breath of the Wild. Most recently, I just beat Pokemon ZA Legends. I'm not going to review it because, well, I can talk about technical difficulties of recording at some other time, though this will impinge on this game. But I've beaten that, and as I was playing it, I'm realizing that its open world sucks. Like in Legends Arceus, it was pretty great. That's the last review I did for this channel. But for ZA Legends, I realized that like the place is small, mobility sucks, and I'm just trying to like plow through the story, which I did, and it's a fine enough game. But I was yearning for that sense of exploration, discovery, mobility that Breath of the Wild gave me. And I realized that, I've owned this game since launch. I played it for all of like 20 minutes back in the day. Just life was going on at the time, couldn't really get into it. So I figured, you know what? Let's give this a shot. On top of that, I got a Switch 2 for Christmas, so I've been playing with that. So I have the Switch 2 edition. It was a $10 upgrade. Shouldn't really have to pay for it, frankly, but I did anyway. So I'm playing in 4K, some shitty HDR, and I'm enjoying my time with it so far. It is scratching that itch. I'm not so sure how I feel about the material fusion system. I kind of like the normal weapons that you would see in Breath of the Wild, but in general, I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure how reviewing it's going to go. I just tried today to set up my my AverMedia 4K, whatever the fuck it's called, that I used to use back in the day when I made this channel. And while it could do pass through, I could not get it to work. Now there's different things I can try. Hell, I can still try recording off of my Switch itself. But, I also want to be able to sit back and use my Switch too. So when the time comes to review the game, I might have to do it vlog style like this. I may have to play through like the first hour or two on the Switch to get the recording and then just play random gameplay while I talk about it, something like that. But I am currently playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm enjoying it, and it'll probably be the first game that I review come 2026. We'll see how all of that goes. Also, at some point, I just need to get a better capture card, but why invest money in something when I'm just starting, right? Next game, Octopath Traveler. I actually have also owned Octopath Traveler since launch. One of my very first attempts at YouTube was starting to Let's Play Octopath Traveler, which lasted about 4 episodes that nobody watched, and I decided I don't want to do this. But I did give it its own shake, and I got about 20 hours in, and I was like, I have no idea who the villain is. I have no idea why I'm doing any of the things that I'm doing other than I'm grinding all of the time. I mean, I don't remember how many years has gone on since then, 7 or 8, something like that, but it's been a while. And JRPG fanatics love this game. They love this series. Octopath Traveler 2 came out, which I also own. People love that game even more. Octopath Zero came out. People are loving that game. And I just have never been able to get into the series, but I also haven't really given it a fair shake since then. And I've changed a lot as a person. I've come to enjoy grinding in JRPGs to a limited extent, depending on my mood. So, one of my goals for this year is to play through Octopath Traveler. Might be on the Switch, might be on PC, and give it the chance that it deserves. Maybe it's actually going to surprise me. We'll see. The soundtrack is amazing. I still listen to that to this day. All right. Next game, and the last physical Switch game that I have, is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Every single time somebody in the real world finds out that I'm into JRPGs, they ask me if I've played Xenoblade Chronicles. And I think Xenoblade is one of those things where most people aren't going to play it, but if you do like RPGs, it's one of the more mainstream ones, like Persona, for instance. And I have played this game twice. And the last time I got pretty far into it, but for whatever reason, I just keep dropping it. I also played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 way back when the Switch came out, liked it, got like 20 hours in, but I was also traveling to Spain at the time, and playing it portably was not working, and so it ended up getting dropped. This is a series that, for all intents and purposes, I should love, and I'm sure that I do. So I just need to go in there and fucking play the game, and play it to, maybe not completion, but beating the game, finishing the story. At first, I wanted to just do Xenosaga first, because on this channel, I've already reviewed Xenogears. It's the first review that I uploaded, I believe, when I did the 6-7 month split or stretch or however long that I did the channel last. And that was not a 6-7 joke. I'm pretty sure it was about 6 or 7 months. I have been hearing way too many 6-7 jokes as a high school teacher, just let me tell you. And also, my students have found this channel, so I'm sure that when I upload this, some of them will watch it and then tell me how ass it is. But, that's how it goes. In any case, yes, very much looking forward to playing this. I have heard that the Xenoblade Chronicles narrative, like, it all weaves together, and it does actually interact with Xenogears and Xenosaga. I do own the first 2 Xenosaga games, and the Japanese version of the third, which I bought by accident thinking it was the English version, so I'd probably be emulating that. But I decided, you know what, let's just do Xenoblade, and then if I really get into Xenoblade, I can go back and do Xenosaga. All right, I have 3 more games here. This is for Sony consoles, and then I have a few digital games that I also want to talk about. The first one is a PS2 game, Tales of Legendia. I have been a longtime fan of the Tales series ever since Tales of Symphonia came out on the GameCube, and I remember getting my aunt to buy it for me for Christmas when I was like 12 or something like that. And I loved, especially back in that area, Tales of Symphonia, Abyss, Vesperia. I loved the idea of a traditional RPG. I just called them RPGs back then, now knowing they're JRPGs, but also having them do real-time combat. I thought that was like a really interesting presentation of something that was traditionally turn-based. I've since grown to appreciate the Tales series because of the party mechanics, of the fact that in almost all of these games, the party itself feels cohesive. Every member of the party has a relationship with other members of the party. It's not just all hanging on the main character, as so many JRPGs tend to fall into the trap of. Tales of Legendia is kind of I think it's the black sheep of the Tales series, certainly one of them. It's a game that I remember renting as a kid and hating because it wasn't just like Tales of the Abyss or Tales of Symphonia. I believe it's more like 2D. No, it doesn't look 2D. It looks more like maybe 2D sprites on a 3D plane or vice versa. I'm going to have to see. But I might actually really love this art style now that I've played way more retro RPGs and stuff like that. So this has been sitting on my shelf for a while, and I can't remember the last time I actually played my PS2 for more than a couple of seconds. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving this retro game a shake. I've been playing a lot less retro games lately, and I would like one of my general goals for this year is to fix that. And I'm hoping that the channel will help me with that, but I'll talk about that next week. Okay, next game that I want to talk about is Ys 10 Nordics. On my channel, I have reviews for Ys 1 and 2, Memories of Celceta, Oath in Felghana, and I feel like there's a fourth. Oh yeah, and Ys Origin as well. I may be missing one. I remember not doing one for Ark of Napishtim because I did that years after I stopped doing YouTube. But I've since played through Ark of Napishtim. I've played through Ys 7. I've played through Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. I've played through Ys 9. Monstrum Nox, that's what it's called. I almost called it Septum Nox. Sex Septum. In any case, that's 6-7 in Latin, by the way. Ys 10, other than Ys 5, which is like this short SNES game that I actually ended up buying a flash cart so I could play it and then just haven't really played it. But that game is super easy. People don't really like it. They don't play it. Ys 10 is modern Ys. And once I play this game, it will be like I finished the Ys series. Technically, I need to play Ys 5, which I might try to do this year as well, but no firm comments on that. I am going through a bit of Falcom withdrawal right now. Ys is by Falcom, for those that don't know, the same people that are doing the Trails series, which I've played almost all of the entries of. We're going to talk about the one that I haven't played in a little bit. But, having played through most of the Ys games and playing through most of the Trails games, you get a little bit sick of everything taking forever, of people just talking all of the time. And I get it. In RPGs, we talk, right? We love story. At the same time, I don't need to hear everybody's comments about, oh, I love this food, or I'm here to support. It's wasting my time. And I booted up Ys 10 for about 10 minutes and realized it was more of that. Now, I know that there's a good game in here once I get past that. And it's going to be filled with action, and it's going to be super fun, and I'm looking forward to that. But this is a game I'll be playing later in the year, because ever since I beat Ys 9, I'm like, I don't want to play Falcom for a while. This last physical game we'll talk about in a minute, but I have a few digital games that I don't own yet or own digitally that I want to talk about. And the next game, just talking about Falcom, is Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake. This is the Trails game that I haven't played. I have played all of the Trails games that have come out, including the ones that are not out in English yet. In fact, I've played the entire Calvard arc through fan translations. I played Reverie in a fan translation. I've played Kuro no Kiseki 2, and Kai no Kiseki, all of them being fan translated. I have to admit that these are the games that I hate the most in this series. And part of me does wonder if it's because of localization, but frankly, I don't think so. That being said, actually, I do love Kuro. I think Kuro was a great game, now known as Trails of Daybreak. Daybreak 2 and what do they call it in English? Trails Beyond the Horizon, Kai no Kiseki. They suck. They're not good games. And it breaks my heart as somebody who has been a super ultra mega fan of the Trails series for the past few years. If you know how much I like it, you know. Daybreak 2, kind of like... So, okay, I played Reverie when it was called Hajimari. Didn't really like it. Obviously, the gameplay is great, but the plot I found lackluster. I mean, literally, the final boss creates itself out of nothing. I remember arguing with people in the Super Derek Discord channel with a guy named Vira, specifically, telling me that the Elysium doesn't appear out of nowhere. And I'm like, it literally says in the game that he appears out of nowhere. And I hated that. Kuro I loved, and then Daybreak 2 comes out. I'm like, all right, you got to follow up Daybreak 1 with Daybreak 2, make it excellent, and it kind of sucked. The plot sucked. And that was like the game that really became divisive. Then I said, okay, I need to play Kai no Kiseki, and that game sucks more, in my opinion. Maybe someday I'll have a video about why I don't like these two games in particular, though now it's been a bit since I've played it. Um, I just find the plot to be really dull and slow and not at all related to what got me into Trails in the first place. Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake, however, looks like it's going to be the opposite of that. Trails in the Sky First Chapter is one of my favorite games of all time, and it is Trails at its best when Trails is grounded in reality. And then, maybe introduces a few supernatural elements here and there, but being focused on the characters, being focused on the politics, on the economics, the things that make Zemuria a magnificent world to be in. That starts with Trails in the Sky First Chapter, along with the charm of the world, the charm of the music, which also has taken a downhill dive in the recent entries. Going back and exploring FC again, I think is a great way for Falcom to remember why it got into this stuff in the first place. What makes Trails so special? What makes Trails Trails? And from everything that I've heard, people love this remake. They absolutely love it. I haven't played it yet, pretty much because I'm in a Falcom burnout right now. But I will be returning to Falcom with this game. I will absolutely be playing it before Ys 10 because I'm really looking forward to First Chapter Remake. I'm probably going to play it in the first third of the year. Maybe the game I play after Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to see. But that's a game I'm very much looking forward to. Okay. Next game on my list is Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, which I own on PC. I own it on Steam. This is a recommendation to me, not a challenge game. I have two games that I'm being challenged to play, but Rogue Trader is one that I'm choosing for myself. Why? I love fantasy. I love history. I love things that combine those two things. And Warhammer is a series that I should probably know something about as a huge nerd, and yet I still haven't really gotten into it. From what I can tell, Rogue Trader is like the perfect way for a gamer like me to really get immersed and involved in this universe. I've heard amazing things about the game. It's a CRPG. I don't play that many CRPGs. I'm more of a JRPG guy, but I've dabbled from time to time. And so I'm looking forward to like really diving into it. I've played it about like 20 minutes just to, see how it works, and the turn-based combat seems pretty neat. So yeah, looking forward to playing that game. I don't have a whole lot more to say about that. And then the last game that I chose for myself is Dark Deity. Dark Deity is an indie game that is built in the same vein as classic Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem, for those that don't know, is a turn-based strategy game. Huge history in Japan. First comes to the US with entry 7 on the Game Boy Advance. Just came out here as Fire Emblem, and I got it at launch as a kid because I played a lot of Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I really wanted to know who Marth was and who Roy was. And of course, Marth's not in the game at all, and Roy only appears at the end as a baby because it turns out that our Fire Emblem was actually the prequel to the one that Roy was actually fucking in. But I loved it. I loved that game, especially at the age that I got it. I was not beating a lot of games. That is a game that I plowed through. I got almost my entire army killed, but I beat that game. And I loved every second of it. For the longest time, it was my favorite game. And I've since played Sacred Stones. I've played Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, Awakening. I've played through Three Houses. I have not played much of Engage, mostly because the story that was presented to me about being a Dragonkin Chosen One / God pissed me off a lot. So I didn't want to play it. I've dabbled a bit in the SNES game Genealogy of Holy War. Got about halfway through that. And ironically, I still haven't actually played the game that has Roy in it. But Dark Deity is supposed to be a modern adaptation of those same core mechanics that you would find on the Game Boy Advance titles, and the Game Boy Advance titles still remain my favorite, except maybe for Path of Radiance. I love that game too. I've heard that the story isn't that great in Dark Deity, but I got it on the Steam sale for $5, so we'll just give it a shot. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Those are 8 games that I chose that I'm going to beat and play and review this year. But I also reached out to 2 of my friends, Kevin and Vikram, and asked them, say, hey, challenge me to play one game. Vikram chose Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I know almost nothing about this game. I know that it's supposed to be in the same vein as Vampire Survivors, but I also never played Vampire Survivors, so that doesn't tell me a whole lot. This is a game that I might stream and make Vikram be on the stream with me, which also means that it's not going to happen right away because Vikram's currently in India, and so that's going to screw up the scheduling. Spoiler alert for the video I'll upload next week about the plans for the channel. Vikram and I also plan on doing a video game podcast together. So expect to hear more about him and all of that. But great guy and a great gamer. But I trust his judgment on games that are good. So I'm looking forward to playing that. And then the last game, I kind of resent my friend Kevin for doing this to me, but he has. Kevin's the one that recommended I play Rogue Trader. And so I said, hey, Kevin, recommend me a game that isn't Rogue Trader, because I'm choosing that for myself, to challenge me to play. And he decided that I should play Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is by the same developer as Rogue Trader and another huge-ass CRPG. I own this on the PS4. I'm not sure I'm going to play it on the PS4. I might buy it again on on Steam. Let me check my library real quick. I think I own Wrath of the Righteous on Steam as well as on PlayStation 5. But I'm not sure. Yes, I do own Wrath of the Righteous. It must have been on sale or something. But I don't own Kingmaker, so if I'm going to buy that, I should. Well, the Steam sale is on for another couple of days. Let me see how much it's costing right now. All right, Kingmaker is $3. So I'm going to buy that right now while I'm recording this video. See, we are just all part of professionalism up in here. But like when a game is literally $3, yeah, I'll just put it on here. Okay, I'm a little scared of this game because I've heard that if you do things in the wrong way, you can fuck up your game and make it impossible to beat. I don't know how true that is. It's also, a D&D-esque game using the Pathfinder system, not the D&D system. I have a very small amount of experience with, not even Pathfinder, with Starfinder. When I did a little bit of D&D playing in Ithaca before I moved, we started with Starfinder until our ship ended up being swallowed by a Leviathan because our DM was mean and we lost a dice roll. But I do know the people that like it really like this game. Kevin has driven me wrong before. It's not stirred me wrong or driven me wrong. Anyway, he's been wrong before. He once recommended that I play Planescape Torment, telling me that it was the best narrative in video games he's ever experienced, and I played it, and that game sucks. So I told him that my restriction was, do not give me any bad games like Planescape Torment. We're going to see if this game is like Planescape Torment. But yeah, those are the 10 games that I plan on playing and reviewing this year. Obviously, I plan on playing more, but in the past few years, I've noticed that I have been playing a lot less games. Life has been really busy. Being a teacher takes a lot out of you. But I'm hoping that by bringing back this channel, I can make more room for things that bring me joy, which include video games. So that's going to be it for this video. Again, I don't expect anybody to really watch it. I'm not going to really edit it or anything. But if you did watch it, thanks very much. Are there any other games that you would recommend that I play? Or have you played any of the games that I've talked about today? Do let me know. And if this makes it into your sub box, all 72 of you who have subscribed over the past few years, hey, thanks. Thanks for staying subscribed. And good to see you back in the comment section again. And if I don't see you, then I don't see you. All right, I'm going to let this... By the way, I'm doing everything on Linux now, which is good. there are some technical qualms. So like I know that the last few seconds of the video, like the audio just won't work. So I gotta let this run for a little bit before I hit stop recording. So we make sure to get everything, and then I'm gonna go to the gym. And my legs are still sore from last leg day, but I gotta go deadlifts today. So we'll see how that goes. All right, everybody, take care.